Okay.
Okay, we have a new file.
Welcome everyone to the March 28th, 2018 meeting of the Mayor and Council, Oakland, New Jersey. Please look at your cell phones, make sure they're on vibrate if you're keeping them on. And also please refrain from texting because it is disruptive, discourteous, and could be construed as a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act. At this time, roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Here.
Me.
Should say.
Mayor
I'm
Schwager.
here.
Mayor Schwager.
I'm here.
Councilman Bialy.
Here.
Councilman Knapp.
Here.
Councilman Kamala.
Here.
Councilman Levy.
Here, and thank you for getting it right.
Thank you. You're welcome. Councilman Pignatelli.
Here.
And Councilman Talavini.
Here.
At this time, I ask you to stand to salute the flag and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated. And this is a good time because it is a very special end of the week. It's a very holy weekend for just about all religions. You have Easter and you also have Passover. So I wish everybody a very good holiday this weekend coming. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law duly announced, advertised, and posted in the municipal building. And I just want to thank Chapa Russo, who is the chair of the Public Events Committee, Councilman Talamini, who chairs the Public Events Committee, for a really fantastic Easter egg hunt this past Saturday. You can see pictures that it looks like there's snow, but even the weather held out and all the snow was gone for the Easter egg hunt, and it was really very successful. Thank you for all the committee and all your hard work. There's a lot of activities, well, it's almost April, and there's a lot of activities at the Senior Center. On April 4th, it's called Seniors in Place. Seniors can learn how to live safely and independently. It's a presentation and a free lunch on April 4th. Then on April 5th, the ARP, that's for older people. They have a smart drivers class from 11 to 4. You can take the class. You can call Rose at the Senior Center for more details. And if you take the class, it helps you with your insurance. They teach you the rules of the road. If you have any points, it can deduct 2 points on your license, abstract. April 15th to the 29th, or is it April 5th? 5th, the art exhibit at the library, and these are senior center artists. But the opening reception is April 15th.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
From 1 to 4 is the opening reception.
What date is that?
Um,
15th?
14th, but I figure you're going to announce it again.
Yes.
It's just a quick summary and to show how wonderful our senior center is. And April 24th is really very special. Angelo Chusano will be honored as a special resident, but Josie Berkowitz will be turning 103. I remember when she cut the cake on her 100th birthday, and I can't believe it was 3 years ago. That's on April 24th at the Senior Center. There will be a birthday cake. I just want to remind everyone, if you have prescription drugs, don't leave them in your cabinet. If you watch commercials, it's really not good. Kids get in cabinets, they start taking drugs. We are very fortunate. We're one of the first towns where we have a prescription drop-off box. You don't have to talk to anybody, you don't have to answer any questions, you don't have to ask. You go to the police station and you drop off your prescription drugs, and they will dispose of it properly. This is a public service reminder. New Jersey residents will receive new Medicare cards after June 2018. Your Social Security number will not appear on your new card. Are you looking? You're checking? Chopper's looking. So that's in June, after June 2018. Just make sure your Social Security number is not on the new card. And because there are many, many scams, so please do not respond to calls or letters. And I just, it was on my email, next Rutgers class will be Friday, April 6th. There will be a Rutgers University safety class held on Friday, April 6th at the Oakland Senior Center at 6:30 p.m. The class is free to Oakland residents and $40 for non-residents. I assume there'll be someone at the door checking. For anyone who would like to coach in any of our recreation programs, you must attend this class. So if interested, contact, I can't even talk tonight. Contact Tracy Saliani at Borough Hall, or you can go to RecSec, RECSEC, at oakland-nj.org. So that is that. And just a reminder about all the branches, you know, everybody's talking on, well, writing on Facebook and going back and forth. If you have branches, pickup will be starting in April for all your branches and tree limbs and all the brush that fell during the snow. The maximum length is 4 feet and the maximum diameter is 4 inches. So that's important to remember. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone wish to speak?
I'll go, if that's all right?
You're allowed.
Sure.
That's what it's there for.
So I let the chickens go first.
Oh, no, this is not the bees yet.
Yes, it
That's
is.
a special presentation.
Oh, okay, sure.
What would you, take your time,
Okay.
you get ready.
Do you want me to go now, or?
No, wait. Why don't you wait, we'll do the chicken.
Sure, that's fine, yep.
So yes.
Do you want to speak during the public portion?
I would hope to, ma'am. I'm sorry I'm late.
Well, then hurry up, because we just almost entertained the vote to close.
Okay.
Except if you're talking about bees or chickens.
I would not like to talk about bees and chickens.
Okay, then you can
And I will
speak.
be done in under 3 minutes.
No, that's okay.
I have handouts for folks if they need to see them, and thank you for the opportunity to speak before the council today. My name is Mark Ballou, and I'm here tonight to just bring to the council's attention the safety hazard that has been caused by erosion along the borough's drainage easement that crosses my property at 94 Andrew Avenue. If you look on the tax maps and stuff, I'm tax block 5606, lot 8.
Just a minute, do you have that, Richard?
And I initially contacted Mr. Kunze, the Borough Administrator, on August 10th, and subsequently on October 19th and November 1st, 2017. I then contacted Councilman Talamini on December 6th initially, and subsequently earlier today, and Councilman Talamini was kind enough to meet with me just a few hours ago to see conditions along the drainage firsthand. The drainage is in a state of disrepair, and it starts at the head wall where the stormwater system empties into the drainage, which is over by the water tower
I was
on Lot
going to ask you,
11.
so your house is right near the water tower?
I'm 3 down.
Okay.
Okay. And at the corner of my property, the banks of the drainage are now steep, more than 8 feet tall, and almost vertical. And these conditions pose a hazard to my young children, ages 4 and 1. In places, the drainage has eroded to the point where it's now 10 feet beyond the limits of the drainage easement, and so I've lost 10 feet of property to the drainage. The erosion has undermined the adjoining fence at the corner of my property. I can't even build a fence there to keep my children safe because it's continuing to erode. So the hazard here is tangible and really can't be addressed without action or help from the borough. And what I hope tonight is that I can build support for some sort of action. I totally understand. You don't want to set a precedent.
Has our engineer been asked to go out there, Boswell Engineering?
Yes,
You have been asked?
not me personally, Mayor. As you know, this is
Why
my
don't you
first
tell
meeting.
everybody your name and who you are so they don't think you're a total stranger?
Yes, my name is John Yakimic. Thank you. My name is John Yakimic. I'll be taking over for Rebecca as the representative from Boswell Engineering going forward for the borough. I'd be more than happy to meet with the resident at the conclusion of this meeting to get in detail the aspects that are occurring at the site. And we'll talk with Rich Kunz and the DPW administrator on efforts that we could do to rectify the situation as quickly as possible.
All right, and just in case you don't want to stay to the end, when you're going to leave, just ask him to get your contact information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Duncan, I didn't bring one for you.
That's not, that's okay, that's all right. I'll share
Yeah.
and then she'll take it.
I'm sorry. If any of you guys don't need it, I may be one short.
So I'm going to give this to the borough.
Maybe 2 short. I'm sorry.
That's right, I have your documentation.
Wow. Put this in the notes. Yeah, we'll put it in the minutes.
Thank you
It'll be
very
in the
much.
minutes. Okay, make
I'll
sure
pick her up.
before you leave, you contact our engineer.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mayor?
Thank you. Yes,
Mayor, I could talk to him right now if
Yes,
that's okay.
go.
And leave the dais?
yes.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect timing.
Thank you.
What do you want to do to check?
We're doing that now. No, not now. We're going to close to the public.
The first
What?
Get a whole bunch of things.
What, you want to talk about in the public?
Yeah.
Oh, then speak.
Okay. Chopper Russo, P.O. Box 201. Yeah,
Oakland, New Jersey.
Oakland, New Jersey. First, I want to apologize to Russell because I went to school with a kid named Talamini.
Oh, you went, oh, yes. Yes, you said
And
the
and it wasn't
correct
for the
name.
efforts of the members of Oakland Public Events. They're just making it better and better. You know, our goal is, we only have so many people. We're just trying to make every event better. Our next event that we co-sponsor is May 27th, the annual Memorial Day Parade. And then this year, there'll be notices going out to all the 501Cs in regards to the carnival. And that'll run from the 13th to the 16th of June. Fireworks have been changed to Friday, because we found, not thinking ahead of time, that we were gonna get canceled. So if we get canceled on Saturday, Sunday is Father's Day. So to protect ourselves, we're gonna run Friday, okay? And then we're gonna have like 1,200 discount tickets, so. Wednesday and Thursday night are gonna be $25, and Friday and Saturday will be $30, but the pre-sales are $20.
Wow.
So we'll have them over at the Remax office and over at Town Hall. A couple other announcements. The Ladies Auxiliary of the Oakland Volunteer Fire Department has a pancake breakfast and food drive on Sunday, April 8th. Then we
April
have-
8th?
And then we have the townwide cleanup, which is also supported by Oakland Public Events. That'll be on Saturday, April 21st. We're going to meet at Valley Middle School. Oakland's Fathers Club has a golf outing on Friday, May 4th. And then, as you spoke, the Oakland Senior Art Class, they have art show and sale. It's going to run from Thursday, April 5th to Sunday, April 29th. And then they have a public invited reception on that Saturday, April 4th, from 1 to 4.
4th or 14th?
No, April 14th, but it runs from 1 to 4. And then we have the townwide garage sale, which will be on Saturday, May 5th this year. And then finally, on Tuesday, May 8th, we have the annual fundraiser for the Oakland Volunteer Fire Department Ladies Auxiliary. Tuesday, May 8th will be the Strawberry Festival. But don't worry, it'll be in your mailbox, so, all right? Put a big, made a special
That's very
flyer for
generous
that.
of you, thank
No,
you.
it's not a problem. You get to see my pretty dogs. Put the one dog with a ribbon. So, you know, in any of these 501Cs, we all need volunteers, you know. Me at the Oakland Public Events, you know, a lady wanted to know when the different events were, so Joe and Glima, we're trying to get her to sign up so she'll know better. So, but seriously, we have a
Yes.
good time. You know, we only have a handful of events a year. So we, you know, more people, more the merrier.
And each event gets bigger and better. I mean, bigger.
We just try to make it better, that's it. You know, people talk about doing a big fair, I'm like, just stay with what you got, so. All right, and I'll
Thank
be
you.
back wearing another hat in a minute.
Thank you. Anybody else who wishes to speak? If no one else, then motion to close.
Motion to close? Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of minutes. March 14th, it's a regular meeting. There a motion to approve.
So moved. Second?
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy?
Yes.
Councilman Knapp?
Yes.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
Councilman Levy?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Calhoun?
Yes.
There are minutes from the executive session on March 14th. You all have a copy. If there's going to be any discussion, it must be done during executive session. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second?
Will there be any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy?
Yes.
Councilman Knapp?
Yes.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
Councilman Levy?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Calhoun?
Yes.
And now we have presentations. And the first presentation is by a young resident. Her name is Abigail Andro. She's 9 years old, student at Dogwood Hills Elementary School. And she kept writing to me, and it took me a while to get back to you, which I had apologized, but then I spoke to your parents. She wants to make a presentation on chickens. As you are aware, in order to have chickens in Oakland, your property must be an acre. And just a few months ago, I sat at a zoning board meeting, and someone presented an application for variance to have chickens. And the property was under an acre. And the zoning board has approved it. They did approve it. So there are some restrictions, you know, make sure that the chickens are contained. But, so I had Abigail come to Borough Hall, and we talked, and I gave her a tour, and we discussed chickens, and I learned more about chickens than I ever wanted to know. And I invited her to come to the council meeting to make her, well, we'll call it a pitch, a presentation about the possibility of reducing the size of property for chickens and the value chickens have. And I also found out, that's why I asked Chopper Russo to come, because he's also chair of our green team, and Sustainable New Jersey, that Sustainable New Jersey encourages having chickens, and I learned so much about chickens and why farms have chickens, and Abigail, you're on. And we even got you a stool to stand on, a little platform. You have to give your name and your address.
Done. Good evening. My name is Abigail Langstrom. I live at 43 Akron Street. I am 8 years old and a third grader at Dogwood Hill Elementary, where I am a member of the Student Council and a Girl Scout. Tonight I would like to speak to you about why I think Oakland residents should be able to own chickens no matter their property size.
All right, you have to speak a little bit louder and a little bit slower.
Okay.
Because we're old up here, we can't hear that
What?
I became interested in chickens about 3 years ago. Like many people in Oakland, we live near water and have woods near our house, and the mosquitoes and other bugs by our house are very bad. Every day around 4 o'clock we would have to come inside because we would start getting bitten by them. My sister ended up getting Lyme's disease and getting sick. My parents decided that instead of using chemicals where we were playing, that they wanted to find a safer solution, and that's when we started learning about all the many benefits of backyard chickens. Once we got our chickens, we noticed that bugs were not bad each night due to the fact that chickens were eating them all. Now we can stay outside without having to worry about the bugs as much. But this is only one great reason for keeping chickens. Chickens have taught me and my siblings a lot of responsibility. Every day we are responsible for making sure they have food, fresh water, and a clean coop. We have to collect their eggs and make sure their run is clean and safe. One of the best reasons to have chickens though is for their fresh eggs. Backyard chicken eggs are much more nutritious than store-bought eggs because you know what nutrients are put into the eggs that you eat. For example, our chickens eat a wide variety of foods including some things like cracked corn, fresh fruits and vegetables, meats, bugs, whole grain, grass, and more. If you were to compare a store-bought egg to the egg of a backyard chicken, you would notice that the backyard chicken's egg would be much more orange in the color because of all the vitamins and nutrients in their food, whereas a store-bought egg would be more yellow because they are only eating grain. Also, we have a variety of egg colors like brown, tan, green, and blue. Most people never knew those colors even existed. Having backyard chickens has taught me a lot about self-sustainability. Self-sustainability to me means being able to provide for yourself and your family by using things from the earth and things that are natural. Our chickens provide us with food from their eggs, compost from their used hay, fertilizer from their poop, and their crushed up eggshells help keep our garden soil more healthy and nutritious so we can grow better and healthier plants. When you grow healthier crops, not only are you and your family eating healthier, but you also feed your chickens the scraps, which will give them healthier eggs. There are many towns and cities in our area that allow keeping backyard chickens for all the reasons I have spoke about and more. In Essex County, approximately 14 of 22 towns allow their residents to raise chickens, including Newark. Franklin Lakes, which borders Oakland, allows its residents to keep poultry also. In order to own poultry in Franklin Lakes, you must get a permit from the Board of Health and follow the town's rules about where to build a coop, how to build it. It has to be for the amount of chickens you want to own, and you must also keep the coop clean. Pompton Lakes and Wayne also let their residents with smaller properties own poultry. You can even own chickens in New York City. Each town has its own set of laws that works best for them. I hope that our town can change its current laws so that everyone has an option to own backyard chickens if they want to. Thank you all very much for taking the time to listen to me speak about why I feel Oakland should change its laws about keeping backyard chickens so we can all be healthier.
Thank you. Don't leave. So there must be some questions.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
I just noticed last week, I go shopping all my my plants and my flowers and my hanging plants at a place in Lincoln Park called Grow Right. And I don't know if you guys went to it, but last Saturday was the chicken, they had a chicken symposium. And everything is working in concert, and as Chopper said, it's a good sustainable thing that is backed by green teams. And so, first of all, I must say, your presentation and your speech and your reading, I give you 100%.
Thank you.
You were unbelievable.
That's an A.
You got an A+ on that one.
Thank you.
But I appreciate your taking the time and your special niche of chickens. I hope everyone in Oakland has their own chickens. My wife goes down to the chicken farm on Golfo Road. We don't eat anything but the eggs from that place because there is a tremendous difference in fresh eggs as opposed to eggs from the supermarket, because I've read that some of those eggs may be as old as 3 months old at the supermarket. But Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I got a question for you.
Yes.
When you get a fresh egg at home, do you put it in the refrigerator or do you just store it on the counter? Where do you keep
Store
it?
it on the counter
And how long does it last?
about 3 months.
So 3 months with a fresh egg, you don't have to refrigerate it.
Wow.
But these eggs sound pretty good. Can we buy some?
How many chickens do you have?
About 14.
Oh,
And do you have to give them special meal for them to form the egg shell?
No, they do it on their own.
What's your situation with roosters?
We don't have any.
And does your proposal include roosters?
No.
So no alarm clocks?
And so what is the, like, what are you looking for to be changed?
I'm looking to change the law to at least have around about half an acre to own chickens.
And what is the ordinance now?
1 acre.
1 acre? So you wanna drop it to a half acre for 14 chickens?
Around that.
Okay.
One other question. Did you start all your 14 chickens off from chicks?
Yes, most of them.
Oh, most of them, and you bought a couple big guys?
Yes.
Okay.
1 or 2.
And where do you go buy a chicken?
Gulfbrook.
Where? Goffin Road?
Gulfport Road.
Gulfport Road Chicken Farm.
And Chaparuso, I'm told this helps us with sustainable, a certification towards sustainable New Jersey?
Yes, it helps us with the sustainability application. And as you know, our goal is to get to silver. We've been bronze since 2011.
I have a quick question. Is changing the I'm sorry. Button police here.
That's right.
So if we change the ordinance, is that alone going to help us, or by virtue of the fact that she actually has 14 physical chickens?
It should help us.
Okay, well, I don't need to
Is
talk to
there
you
an
anymore.
age-
I'll talk to you.
Is there an age minimum to be on our green team?
No.
Brian?
Brian,
No, you don't establish
And I do have one more question for you.
guess what?
You've talked to your neighbors, and they're all the neighbors are all fine with this?
They get eggs daily.
I'm sorry, where do you live again?
That's the question.
Wait a minute, this works out perfect. I can find out where they live, and he can sell me a house in the neighborhood.
The application that was made in January, the board accepted it
At the
based.
zoning
Oh, yeah,
board?
you live around the corner from me.
Acorn.
I'm on Lakeview Terrace.
There you go.
Go get your eggs.
You know what, wait a minute, how long do you have chickens?
You bring the bacon.
We've had them for about 3 years now.
All right, wait a minute, 3 years, that's 365 days, times 3, 2 eggs. You guys owe me a lot of eggs.
But it was just recently that someone had informed you about the zoning.
We were unaware of the situation.
Did somebody make a complaint, or?
No,
No.
we wanted to improve the size of our.
You have to speak at the microphone. And you have to give your name, sorry.
I'm Dana Andrew, I live at 43 Acorn. Abigail was so interested in them, so we were looking into improvements on the run, and before we did it, we wanted to make sure we were meeting the specifications in town, and that's when we ran into
That's
the
when you found
problem
out.
of realizing where we stood at the moment. So when Abigail found out about that, she went into panic mode, and that's when her letter started coming to you.
And when was this 1 acre ordinance enacted, does anybody know?
Long time ago.
Very long time
Yeah,
ago.
I mean, we never, I guess I should phrase it this way. With respect to the past few years where the backyard chickens, I guess I'll phrase it that way, became more prevalent, Oakland did not enact an ordinance. It already had an ordinance
Okay.
regarding, we have chickens, horses, we have everything.
So this is an ordinance.
This is an older ordinance.
This is an ordinance that was put in place long before people were discussing sustainability
Correct.
and all the benefits of the things that you're talking about.
Also, though, when town wasn't as developed.
Well, yes, but again, where they live is actually,
In regards to the planning board, which probably
I live there, I
that
know.
application.
Zoning board, they
Zoning
usually went to the zoning board that other
Yeah,
people. On Seminole.
On Seminole. One of the pretenses were no roosters. So I would recommend that, in order to do that, because that's how the acre minimum is.
That's what I was gonna ask, does a half acre matter, or is a quarter acre? I mean, what's it really matter if there's not a rooster there, they're quiet? And if there's smaller property, you're eating your neighbor's bugs.
Absolutely. Currently in the town, the ordinance is not that there are no roosters allowed, it's a noise ordinance in place, so it would be more of a nuisance complaint. So when we spoke to zoning, they said it would be in our best interest not to keep roosters, so it doesn't become a nuisance complaint. However, I know the acreage is,
It's within our zoning ordinance, it's
Right.
zoning ordinance 59-49, and it is B7. The housing, breeding, raising, or keeping of any pigs, hogs, or swine, cattle, or poultry is hereafter prohibited throughout the borough, except that the housing and keeping of cattle and poultry shall be permitted in a residential zone for personal use only, provided that the lot upon which they are to be raised or kept has a minimum area of 1 acre. That is the zoning, that's it, period. Doesn't talk about how to keep them, and we really
Does-
don't have anything.
Does the Board of Health have recommendations on,
Well,
or,
let's ask Councilman Pignatelli. You go suggest, you represent the Board of Health, give us your opinion.
As she stated, anything that becomes a nuisance, foul odors, and if they don't properly keep it clean, if there is a rooster, it would be making noise, so anything like that would become a public health nuisance. Any matter, condition, act, or thing that becomes an annoyance.
So the question, I guess, is you've had these chickens for 3 years? You've had 14 chickens for 3 years?
No.
Has anybody complained about an odor?
never.
Has anybody complained about the coop not being kept up properly?
just
As
mine?
it turns out, by the way,
Are they noisy?
Not even up.
Chickens
Mayor?
are not noisy.
They
as
cheddar.
it turns out, I actually live around the corner from them. They probably heard my dogs before I've heard their chickens.
Mayor?
Yes.
Would it make sense, Abigail gave us a lot of good information. She stated that apparently Franklin Lakes has an ordinance. Also, Pompton Lakes has an ordinance, and Maine has an ordinance.
Does Franklin Lakes ordinance have a size restriction?
You have a few ordinances. Abigail raised a good one with Wayne, because I think Wayne has a very specific requirement, which I don't think is based upon the size of the property. I think it's basically has various standards where the coop can be and the like. Am I right about that?
I actually spoke with Wayne this afternoon, and so their setbacks were 25 feet from any inhabited place by a human. So 25 feet from doors and windows on your own or your neighboring property. So it wasn't a property limit so much as a limit from doors and windows where there's human occupancy.
Now,
Now, Wayne is a what I will call a more liberal ordinance. So, if you're looking at it, because I looked at this, and hopefully you're not going to have any cattle, because that's a whole.
Can we separate that out?
I'm looking
Then you will have my
I'm
dogs
looking
in
at
your
the
house.
ordinance now. I pulled it up as the mayor was speaking. If you're interested in doing this, I would separate the two, leave the cattle as it is,
Right.
have the specific chicken. What I would suggest is maybe that we take a look at Wayne and Franklin
Right.
Lakes, and then next time you could decide which one you prefer. My preference is Wayne, because if you're looking to make it less restrictive, that's one that's probably more liberal in terms of its setback
are
requirements.
we allowed to give her a stay until we investigate? What do we do?
Was this before the zoning board, or
No,
no?
No,
not this one.
No, there was another one.
There was no complaints about this. This was a-
Let's just say, maybe the best way to phrase it is that the zoning officer will be advised that he should not take any action while this is under investigation.
Yeah, no complaints have been made.
Yeah, and just to
There are
think,
no complaints.
if there's no complaints that are received by him,
There's
he's
nothing
not
to
going to go out
investigate.
and investigate.
Right, he's not looking for chickens.
Now, I
Well-
also have been advised that we have no age minimum to be a member of our green team to help with our Sustainable New Jersey certification. Would you like to be a part of our green team?
Sure.
All right, Mr. Russo will get all your information, you have to fill out a form. Well, I'll get in touch with you, and you'll fill out a form for us, and you'll bring it to Borough Hall.
And just so you know, your principal was on the green team in his town, so he'd be a good liaison for you on that, okay?
So meet our newest member of the green team.
Abigail, I have one more question for you. With your 14 chickens, what is your weekly egg production? Or daily or weekly, whatever's.
About like around 10 to 12 a day.
Wow.
Wow, so you're getting a dozen a day.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
You
Very
may
good.
meet Lou Levy.
I see that coming.
Watch out for a poacher.
I think more importantly, listen, I'm gonna be running for election again next year, so if you want to give any speeches for me, I would like to have you on my team.
I have one other question. Are the chickens all contained in the fenced-in area?
Yes.
Absolutely. So they're not
But
allowed
trust me,
to
if they
roam?
weren't, again, my dogs would have been at their yard.
No, they're on, they have a coop and they have a contained run. We have a 6-foot fence around our entire property line, so we let them free range our property for an hour or two a day to help us with the bugs, and then they go back into their
But
run.
is your house on the corner?
We are the White House. We have the small street that runs down with the easement.
Oh, yeah,
runs
okay.
behind.
All right.
So how many square feet is
They have heard my
is
dogs.
the caged-in area, would you say?
Too big. It's
20 by 40?
it's kind of a long L, so it's about 10 by 25 or 30, and then it opens up to all of 12 foot by 15, so it's significant.
So when they run around the yard,
300 square feet.
then you have to
Yeah.
gather them?
Heard them.
If you give them a treat and you start to click, then they'll follow you right into your coop, and then you can just shut the door and
Oh, they
won't go out.
you conditioned them. So that's good for your science projects.
Trained chickens.
So Abigail, quick question for you. So walk me through your day of taking care of chickens. You wake up in the morning and what do you do first with your chickens?
Usually you go out and you let them out of your coop and you feed them and check their water and collect the eggs.
Okay.
Around the afternoon time, you collect the eggs, check their food, and let them out to collect the bugs. And at night, you just close up their coop.
And they go to
collect
sleep?
The rest of the eggs. Yeah.
Very good.
Nice
Very good.
life.
Yeah.
I think I want to be a chicken.
Life of a chicken.
Chicken farmer.
Except for that part where I have to follow your clicks.
Any problems with rodents?
Not anymore.
We had one once.
No, we have never had problems with rodents.
Oh, yeah, never.
And actually chickens are, what are they closely related to?
Dinosaurs.
They are predators, so if you have any problem with rodents.
Chickens are predators?
They are predators. Their eyes operate separately, so one eye is constantly searching for food while the other one is constantly eyeing for predators and prey. So they can eat, we've seen them eat frogs.
Oh.
And they can eat mice.
I told you, after I heard the story
We
about
even
chickens,
can
I
eat
stopped
snakes.
eating chicken.
Is that where the green eggs come from?
Green eggs and ham.
Oh, that's why when you have a strange food, they said it tastes like chicken.
Tastes like chicken.
We make sure to keep all the food in containers, so nothing goes on the floor, and it's cleaned up nightly, so we don't have
That
any
was a
problems.
wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Yeah,
so
congratulations.
Thank you, Abigail.
Good job.
And don't forget, we have to get you, actually, you go on the website. It's called a citizen leadership form, and you have to fill it out and then bring it to the municipal building. And you will be on our green team.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you.
It's gonna be a hot act.
Well, I was going to say, this is a very hard act to follow. Why don't we go right into the bees? I think you should sit here and listen.
Bedtime.
Does he need a stool too?
Do you have a speech?
I brought a speech gentleman with us from
okay.
our group. My name's Bob Kozelski. My wife Sue, she's microphone shy. We live at 61 Yalpo. We've lived there for 30 years.
Welcome.
Yep, yes. 2 years ago, we thought about getting into honey bee keeping. We were concerned what the town might have on the information and restrictions and whatnot. So my wife called up the building and the zoning department and talked to a gentleman down there. And he said to her, I believe, that he's been working there for 28 years and nobody's ever asked him that question. So he said he'd have to get back to us. He called down to the state and the state called him back and he got back to my wife and said that there's really no guidelines at that point. We just follow the State Department of Agriculture's guidelines for that. So we decided to get into it and made a decent investment into the hobby, let's say. We go to school to Rambo College once a month. We've been to several other classes, Essex County, Sussex County went to. We went to Pennsylvania for a springtime meeting and a class. The Northeast New Jersey Beekeepers Group we're members of. There's probably 100, 150 of us in that group. John McMatteries is one of our vice presidents. He's much more knowledgeable on the subject than I am. So if I could have him speak on our behalf, and if you have any questions for me or John, I'm sure John can do a better job answering them. Is that all right?
That's fine, because I know nothing about bees.
We know this much. This is John.
Good evening.
You have to give us
Abigail-
your name and your address,
John Matarese, 946 Blue Hill Terrace, Franklin Lakes, New Jersey.
and your title.
I'm third vice president of the Northeast New Jersey Beekeepers Association. Abigail, you're going to be a hard ass to follow. I'm sure we'll do as good as you. So, our association is one of 10 branches of the New Jersey State Beekeepers Association. Our branch encompasses members throughout Bergen and Passaic County, and we actually have some members in Rockland County as well. We have about 235 members in our branch alone. In Oakland, I believe we have five members that are beekeepers in Oakland currently, including Robert and Sue.
I didn't know that.
So the reason that we're here before you tonight is during the 2014-15 state legislative session, the State Beekeepers Association approached some legislators and asked them to create legislation which would empower the New Jersey State Department of Agriculture with promulgating regulations for oversight of beekeeping. Currently, and in the past, the Department of Agriculture has been our oversight loosely, okay? Volunteer registration of the hives. The state has what we call a state apiarist that inspects the hives, most importantly for diseases and other maladies that honeybees get that have developed in more recent years. Two of the reasons, the most important reasons that we wanted legislation that would charge the Department of Agriculture with our oversight was, one, we wanted to encourage beekeepers to register their hives so that they could be inspected. Because one of the diseases in particular, American foul brood, is very hazardous to other bees. It's very contagious, and unfortunately, when it happens, the only recourse is to destroy the hive by burning. So that was one of the reasons. The second reason is what was starting to occur is we're starting to get a patchwork or hodgepodge of different municipalities that were enacting local ordinance legislation, mostly against beekeeping. So one of the closest municipalities that has an ordinance that was passed prior is Allendale, and they have a law which requires or only prohibits more than 4 people or more than 4 families from being beekeepers in the town at any given time. So we wanted a blanket type of a law that was set up with oversight. So the law got passed by the state legislature. The Senate 38-0 with 2 absentees, and the Assembly 78-0 with 2 absentees. So it was essentially unanimous. It got sent over to the Department of Agriculture, and that's where the train went off the tracks. The state bureaucracy got a hold of it, and they created just a albatross of legislation that's going to have anything but a positive effect upon beekeeping and the environment in the state of New Jersey. You'd never know from reading the proposed regulations that New Jersey was a garden state, and by the way, that the honeybee is a state insect. For starters, one of the most devastating parts of the legislation as it's written would prohibit anyone with a 1/4 acre or less property from having any honeybees. And when you juxtapose that to New York City, which doesn't have any legislation, and you have rooftop beekeepers and backyard beekeepers, and there's no problems at all there, it just doesn't make a lot of sense, because New York City is far more densely populated than most places in our state. So we've approached a number of municipalities asking them to pass resolutions against the proposed regulations. We've contacted the original legislators that sponsored the legislation. They've actually gone back to the Department of Agriculture, sending them some of the most strongly worded letters that I've ever read, and I have a background in government, telling them that if the proposed regulations weren't withdrawn and rewritten, that they would enact new legislation which would null and void the original, charging them with the responsibility for promulgating these. That's basically it in a nutshell.
So what are you asking us to do?
I'm asking you, as the governing body, to pass a resolution opposing the proposed regulations as written right now, and sending a copy of that resolution to the League of Municipalities in support of that.
And what are the restrictions that they're asking for? I'm a little confused.
The proposed regulations?
Yes.
Well, some, like I said, some of the most restrictive part is the property sizes. And like I said, under a quarter acre, no one would be able to be allowed to have bees. They talk about in the proposed regulations that people that are in existence, they wouldn't grandfather them, but they would give them a waiver, and that waiver can be withdrawn at any time. Other beekeepers that live on a property from a half acre up to 5 acres would be able to have only 2 hives. And then beyond 5 acres, they would be able to have more hives. The problem with the, as it's written, is it's, first of all, it's socioeconomically on its face discriminatory. Because for the person that can't afford to have 1 acre of property, or more than a quarter acre, say, for example, wouldn't be able to have any bees at all.
Can I ask you
Sure.
to talk about the bees? Since I learned a lot about chickens, now I have to learn about bees. I don't know of anybody, other than you're the first person I've ever met, who has a beehive.
There's 4.
Besides.
Somebody There's on our
Right,
environmental
on our vine. I mean, I really don't know anything about having a beehive on your property.
There's 4 in Oakland.
I know, but I don't know
4
them.
beekeepers, yeah.
Okay, so each hive is
Do you want to come up and give your name and address so we, in case you speak?
And because I agree with them. Carol Peterson, 95 Seminole Avenue. I just want to make a comment regarding the property size from my personal experience. Before I moved to Oakland, where I have just under ½ acre, I had 2 hives on a 50 by 100 piece of property in Patterson. Not one person in 3 years knew that we had bees, or that we had a beekeeper just up the road who actually does apitherapy in the town.
Tom Fiscaldo.
Yes. And no one knew he had bees either until we started walking out with frames of honey. We didn't have veils on, walking up to our neighbors going, no really, these are bees. It's limiting the property size and denying anyone that right. It is just obscene.
Well, one of the things that, the misconception that a lot of folks have about honeybees is they hear the word bee, and they kind of lump it in with other stinging insects like wasps and yellow jackets. Honeybees are very non-aggressive. They don't go after people. They're not looking to sting. With a honeybee, they sting you once, they perish, they pass away because the stinger stays in you.
Do they know it?
Yes. Of course they know it. But their personality as such isn't aggressive. It's non-aggressive. Many of you may have seen pictures of beekeepers with what they call bee beards. A lot of our beekeepers work our bees without veils on their head or without gloves because they're very passive. As opposed
Can you tell the
to
difference between the bees?
between,
Honeybees and the aggressive bees?
well, if you're talking the difference between honeybees or yellow jackets or hornets, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a vast difference. You know, hornets and yellow jackets are very aggressive, and they can continue to sting you. But, you know, hornets are, you know, you'll see them building the freestanding nests. They look like a basketball, kind of gray in color.
Paper, yeah.
Yeah, those are called bold-faced hornets. They're very aggressive. They're
Do
one
they
of the
come to honeybee hives?
No,
They stay away.
completely apples and oranges, completely different. So with a honeybee hive, it's a freestanding hive. It's got a queen. Most of the hive is made up of worker bees. They go out, many of them forage for the day. Their life expectancy is only about 42 days.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't live a long
I'd
life.
sting on the 41st day.
Nah.
What?
I said I would sting on the 41st
Oh.
day.
They forage from 3 to 5 miles from the hive.
That's very good.
Wow.
Over a worker bee's lifetime, they'll make only 1/10 of 1 teaspoon of honey. So it'll take, you know, 1 teaspoon of honey is essentially 10 bee lives to make.
And how many bees are in a hive usually?
It varies. It'll go anywhere from 20 to 35 to 40,000.
Oh, my goodness.
40,000 in a hive?
20 to 40,000 on a nice size hive, yeah.
Now, they die.
We should have some sort of fee for this by the bee.
We're outdone.
It would help our budget.
Absolutely, budget solved.
How do they find the hive?
Well, they have an internal, you know, I'm going to oversimplify this, but they essentially have an internal GPS. So they know exactly where the hive is. Like if you were to take that hive at night when they were all in it and move it to a different location, what they would do in the morning is they would realize that their hive has been moved, and before they would go out on any foraging flights, you would see them doing what we call orientation flights around the hive to get their bearings. And then they'll fly off and they'll come back.
Chopper, does this help us with Sustainable New Jersey?
I was thinking about that.
It absolutely does, Mayor. There's a program.
We're gonna go for gold.
You'll really like this. There's a program that runs parallel to the Tree City program, and it's called the Bee City program. And if you enroll in this Bee City program and become a Bee City, the town of Village of Bridgewood became a Bee City the end of last year. You get points towards your Sustainable New Jersey.
And isn't there a financial fee attached to this law? I think it's $250 for the license, $250 per hive.
That I'm not aware of. I didn't see that.
Okay.
However, in terms of enforcement, guess who's going to be charged with enforcing the regulations?
Health Department.
Oh.
The municipalities.
Usually goes to the Health Department.
You go out, we'll send you back.
Usually.
So John, how do these, if the bees live 42 days, do they reproduce within that time? So
Yeah.
you really never realize you have a deficit and a gain?
Correct. The queen is constantly laying. The queen can lay up to 2,000 eggs a day.
That's a
Wow.
busy queen. So
Yeah.
at the end of 42 days, do you have 20,000 dead bees at the bottom of the hive?
No, it's not like that.
That's right, the chickens are eating them.
Yeah, it's a big circle. No, most of the time when they realize that their time has come, they'll fly off and they'll you know,
Aw.
perish away from the hive.
They go to the dog farm in Pennsylvania where every dog seems to go.
I got a question for you, Mr. Matteries.
Oh, please.
So just so I kind of understand it in my own mind. So basically, the beekeepers got together, lobbied the state of New Jersey to pass a unified law to make it easier for your hobby, for lack of a better way of putting it. It went through the sausage factory and came back something that was just unwieldy at this point. And at this point, what you're doing now is you've gone back to the legislators, and they're trying to now undo that law for lack of a better description and make it more favorable, or are they trying to vacate it?
And before you answer that, is there a reason why they're going through the process of trying to deny beekeepers from, I want to know what that reason is that they're trying to, okay.
Very astute. One was, there was one incident with one person that happened to be a bad neighbor and a beekeeper and had other domestic animals. It was down in the town of Peapack, Gladstone. He was a very bad person and managed to get the neighborhood in an uproar. From what I understand, one of the neighbors happened to be a prominent attorney who had an in at the Department of Agriculture with another career attorney. And she, at the Department of Agriculture, happened to be the one that drafted the lion's share of this proposed regulation. She's now retired. She's gone.
So are there any regulations right now?
Yes. There's what's called beekeeping in populated areas. It's recommended recommended conduct for beekeepers, and it's adopted by the Department of Agriculture. It's what the state apiarist goes off.
But just a recommendation?
It is. It's not binding, but I can tell you right now that all of our members live by that, and our association preaches by that.
What towns in the area have passed resolutions supporting your position?
Good question.
Well, I'll go outside the county a little bit.
Okay.
Wayne, West Milford, Ringwood, and now I'll go in the county. Franklin Lakes, Wyckoff, Waldwick, Midland Park, Ridgewood,
Okay.
Ramsey.
And John, what is the end, like, why do you have bees? Is this, should you get your own honey? Is it a profitable thing? What is the point? in
That's
that?
a really good question.
It's not like you can pet them.
Honeybees, no.
You can.
You can make a beard out of them.
Unlike chickens, you could pet.
Scientists estimate that honeybees and other pollinators like butterflies are responsible for 70 to 80% of the food that we eat. 70, 80%. Beyond that, honeybees pollinate not just the food we eat, but flowers in all trees. We lose the honeybee as an insect, as a species, and we're going to be in serious trouble as a culture.
Isn't there a crisis going on right now with the bee population? Could you
Yeah.
expand on that a little bit?
Colony collapse disorder is what the phenomenon is called, and it's been largely attributed to what we call insecticide, but it's insecticide that's impregnated in the seed. Okay, systemic pesticide, if you will, is what's called. So what they do is they treat the seed before it's planted. It's most prevalent in corn. So when the product grows, or when the plant grows, and an insect, either target insect or non-target, like a honeybee, comes in contact with it, it'll kill the target insect, but apparently what it does to the honeybee is much like the way mercury builds up, or lead in our systems. It never gets purged, and it's cumulative. And it reaches a point where a commercial beekeeper or backyard beekeeper will go to their hive. The hive's normal, apparently it's fine. Come back 2 hours later, completely devoid of bees. So what the scientists speculate is that the bees just lose their internal GPS and they just fly off and get lost and die. But they attribute a lot of that to systemic pesticide use. Systemic pesticides have been outlawed in Europe for about 12 years now, but the United States, unfortunately, can't get its act together, and Big Agri, I guess, has a lot to say.
One of the other benefits, they say, and I don't know if there's any scientific information to back it up.
Allergies.
Allergies, correct, yeah. If you have allergies, use honey that's produced in your town, and it'll help combat the allergies.
Yeah,
Local out
Yeah.
there.
Local honey, they say within, the closer the better, because what you're doing then is you're taking in pollen, because they say, the scientists suggest that the pollen content in local honey is anywhere from 1 to 2%. So if you take in honey in small amounts, it's essentially the same as going to an allergist and getting stuck with a needle in little quantities of what you're allergic to.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, there have been a lot of studies that suggest that. I mean, it's like anything else. They have a study for it and a study that said maybe not. But I'm a firm believer in it, and I have a lot of people that purchase my honey locally for that reason.
Well, our attorney is going to get samples of the resolutions from the neighboring towns, send us the drafts, and we will pursue this. We'll look at it and see what to do.
I
Yeah, I believe in it. So that's exactly what they do with flu shots. You're getting a little bit of the flu.
Precisely.
Just to give your body the time to create an antigen
Build up
to
immunity.
stop the entire flu mechanism.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have sent you over a copy of Ridgewood's resolution. Unfortunately, on your email for your contact, it only allowed you to attach up to 3 attachments at one time.
Well, our attorney will get copies,
We also have
and
this.
we'll have a sample draft. What's that? Yeah, we have that.
Yeah, that's actually not, I sent that over, but I actually had a copy of Ridgewood's actual resolution that they passed.
We'll get copies, and it'll be at our next meeting.
One quick question, just to help us out.
Sure.
To help you as well. Out of all the resolutions that you've seen, are you recommending that the Ridgewood resolution is probably the best one we should follow, or
Franklin Lakes or
Franklin
Lane?
Lakes, what do you think?
Actually, I was pretty impressed with Wyckoff's.
Wyckoff.
Okay.
Okay, Wyckoff.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your
Thank
time.
What an exciting council meeting this is.
The birds and the bees. May I give you my card?
Please.
Everybody, thanks.
Take care. Thank you. Abigail,
Bye,
thank
Abigail.
you.
Very good.
Nice job, you killed it.
Even. Did you adorable?
He said it.
And he's gonna go get the mags.
And I'm gonna use her for make campaign. Oh, wait, now I don't need to.
I never had.
I had someone give me.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Thank you. It is my job.
But Lou let us know. They're neighbors.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't see any.
He'll check it
But I have
out.
to tell you something, I find it
I'll take one,
interesting, they
if you don't
have
mind.
critters
Thank
on their
you.
property. My
Thank you
dogs
very
have it
much.
just right across the swamp.
Thank you.
Mayor, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I should have, right?
Honey or bees?
Okay, we have an appointment to the Green Team. It's mayoral appointment, and it is, we have all of citizen leadership form from Thomas Chaparuso. And we need him, and I appoint him to mayoral appointment, and I need him because he's our chairman. But I don't have 2 council members. Who's the council members for the Green Team?
He didn't appoint any.
We didn't?
No, so who would like to be?
Who would like to be? I'm asking as council president, who would like to be on the green team?
Well, I guess
Anybody?
we'll have the, okay.
I don't know, when do they meet?
What?
When do they meet?
There are no regular meetings as of yet. They're still waiting to schedule the first one for the year. Just a little bit of guidance. I believe in the past, part of the practice was, I think whoever was the EC rep would tend to also serve on the green team. Just there's kind of a commonality of mission there a little bit. Not to throw you under the bus there, Pat, sorry. But Just throwing that out there.
I nominate Pat Pignatelli.
My apologies to Kathy.
Absolutely. Okay, so Councilman
Sorry.
Pignatelli.
Pat, aren't you the environmental?
Yes, I am.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, we're so far ahead of you already on this now.
Okay, very good.
We're here.
Thank you.
And so we need another one.
Thank you, Council President.
I'll join Pat.
Good.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Now-
I was on it originally.
Now, we need a representative from the Board of Health.
I
So
can do
you'll
the
talk
same.
to them?
I can do the same.
You could be.
Oh, no, I'm on the Board of Health. I'm not on the Board
Could
of
you
Health, yes.
ask somebody who
I
would be
will.
interested?
Remember you retired.
And I need a representative from the Board of Education.
Okay, so.
You'll check out, see if anybody wants to come. And we need a rep from the Shade Tree, a rep from the Planning Board, a rep,
That'll be me. I'll get those people involved.
okay, and, well, we'll figure it out. Okay.
Did we have?
I know Nancy's on the green team, right? And I think she's on Shade Tree?
Yes.
Yes, she is.
She's on everything.
Did we have a representative from the
Yeah.
school board before, in previous years?
No.
No, okay.
All right, we have raffle license.
Wait, excuse me, Mayor, quick question. Why would we need somebody from the planning board? Wouldn't we need somebody from the zoning board?
Well, it's planning or zoning, either one. If you have somebody who's interested. Raffle license 1327. It is for the PTO of Heights School. They're going to have on May 18th a raffle at Holiday Bowl to benefit the students at Heights Elementary School.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Raffle license 1328, PTSO in Dean Hills High School on April 26, 2018, 7:30 to 9:30 raffle, 50% of the cash proceeds for project graduation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Raffle license 1329, PTSO in Dean Hills High School, April 26, 2018, a raffle. It will be also 30 baskets of value of $2,250. Again, it's for post-project graduation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Raffle license 1330. It is the Mothers Club of Oakland on June 1st, 2018, at the American Legion, 6:30 to 11. 50/50 raffle. The proceeds will be donated to the Cancer Research and Oakland residents battling cancer.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And Mothers Club of Oakland for raffle license 1331 at the American Legion on June 1st, 2018, 6:30 to 11. Also raffles 30 baskets, 60 baskets altogether. Proceeds to be donated to the Cancer Research and Oakland residents battling cancer.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we have resolutions. We could do this as a consent agenda, and,
You're pulling 182.
Right.
we're pulling out 182.
Let's hear it's 133.
So 175, hiring public works laborer Ryan Lacasse to fill a full-time vacancy as of April 2nd, 2018, at an annual salary of $35,603.
So moved.
Second.
No, I'm doing it as a consent
Do it as a
agenda.
consent.
Oh.
Go in the five.
I thought you were pulling that one out.
No. 18176 is to authorize refund of recreation fees for Melanie Saletti, 195 Franklin Avenue, refund of $62. 177, authorized grant agreement with the Green Communities Grants, approximately $3,000 to fund the following project: NJFS Urban and Community Forestry Program, Green Communities Grant. We authorize Mr. Kunz to make application, execute a grant agreement, and execute any amendments thereto. 178 is authorized appraisal reports for tax appeals. 100 Ballard Drive, Block 3402, Lot 2, 9,000. M&T Hudson City Bank, Block 1708, Lot 4, 6,000. Right Way LLC, Block 3301, Lot 7, 6,000. And Value Research Group is qualified. And 179, authorized auction of bicycles. And this is property listed in this resolution is no longer needed for public use and wishes to divest said property. They'll be sold in as-is condition. The sale of the surplus property will be conducted online using Municipid, and the successful bidder will be required to pay in cash or certified check, and attached is the full list of the bicycles. And
So moved.
that's
Wait,
it.
Mayor, I have one quick question.
Yes.
My company does business with M&T Bank. Is that a problem? I mean, you know,
Not a problem.
commercial business with M&T Bank.
Well,
Well, it's my company, that's why I just want to make sure it's not.
No.
not a problem. Okay. Therefore, motion,
So moved.
Second.
any discussion on any of them? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy?
Yes.
Councilman Net?
Yes.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
Councilman Levy?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Calhoun?
Yes.
Now, Resolution 182 is being pulled, correct?
Correct.
And 180, 181, and 183 go with the ordinance introduction.
183 is, 183 is not the budget, Richard.
No.
No, 181 will be the budget,
Right.
pretty much everything else between ordinances and budget.
So I should do 183.
Well, you need to do the cap bank ordinance first before you introduce the budget.
Correct.
Which one is that?
18.768.
Right, that's why we listed the other resolutions below it. You need to do the
I have to
ordinance
do the
first.
introduction of the ordinance.
This introduction for the cap bank.
Right, I have to do the introduction, right. So this is 18th Code 768 is the cap bank. And it is the ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy?
Yes.
Councilman Net?
Yes.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
Councilman Levy?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Calhoun?
Yes.
And when is the final hearing?
That's,
April 11th.
no, it,
Yeah.
isn't it for?
That's for the,
Don't we have, it doesn't matter, you're right.
yeah.
It has to
April
be done
11th?
before it has to be done before the budget, we're
Right.
fine.
Okay, so April 11th. Now, the budget, and Mr. Khan said you'll speak,
Sure. Let me give everybody a brief overview.
and this is, and then we do the resolutions 180, 181, and 183.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so I just want to make a little presentation, just a little summary of the budget as it's been prepared for introduction, and then talk a little bit about process and where we're going to go from here. Okay, so for the public, total current fund appropriations are proposed at $19,880,304.93, which is a decrease of about $1.845 million from last year. That may seem like a large drop-off. Some of those largest changes, however, net out with reductions in non-tax revenue. Last year, we had paid off about $2.5 million in notes related to open space purchases with Green Acres grants that were realized, and both the appropriation and corresponding revenue have been removed from this year's budget. Similarly, we no longer provide security at the Motor Vehicle Commission office. That was a $94,000 appropriation matched against a $94,000 revenue in the past. That comes out as well from both sides. On the flip side, some of the largest increases that we're seeing in this year's budget also net out with revenue changes. We're proposing a $250,000 increase to the tax appeal reserve, along with a $100,000 increase to the accumulated absence trust. Both of those would be funded by additional one-time use of surplus funds. A couple of other significant appropriation changes that you'll notice by going through the document. Solid waste collection is increasing $135,000. That, if you'll recall, is due to the higher contract cost and also the enhanced service offering that we have now by going back to twice a year, or twice a week pickup year-round. Pension obligations, after being relatively modest, and I use the word relatively when I talk about pensions, they're increasing in the aggregate by almost $105,000 this year. On the flip side, the health benefit budget is decreasing by $50,000. Salaries and wages in the current fund are projected to increase by 2.7% for all reasons, and as you go through, you'll see that there are some budgets that have reductions due to retirements from last year and other ones that are increasing at a greater rate than 2.7%. But that's the overall number, and that includes the hiring of 2 additional employees mid-year and to make a part-time position into a full-time position as well in the court. All of that on the appropriation side leads up to us being $1.1 million below the appropriation cap limit. Okay. Revenues. On the non-tax part of that, anticipated revenue from the court would increase by $16,500. And we propose to double the amount of anticipated revenue from investment income to $40,000. Anticipated recycling revenue is up by $52,000, and that was part of the discussion last year as well, where we switched back to dual stream recycling. So we'll be getting more revenue out of that. Surplus. As proposed, surplus utilization is compliant with our surplus policy and would increase from about $1.2 million last year to utilizing about $1.9 million in this budget. And the most significant element of that is that the amount used to support general operations is up by $352,000. Okay. So as a result of that increased surplus usage, the amount to be raised by taxes would be flat. Actually, when you see it, there's actually an $85 or so decrease in the amount to be raised, so there would be no tax increase this year. You should note, though, that the library tax levy is somewhat separate from the rest of the municipal levy, and that is governed by a formula set by the state. It's basically 1/3 of a mil on the average assessed value. So as your rateable base increases or your values go up, eventually that gets captured and results in more funding for the library. And so that levy is up 3.2%, which is about $26,000. Okay. And compliance with the levy cap, as presented, we would be almost $300,000 below the levy cap limit. All right. So that is a very kind of thumbnail summary of the budget prepared for introduction for your consideration and deliberation now. So process going forward, you see we have a package of ordinances and resolutions. The cap bank ordinance, which we do every year, that has to be introduced before introduction of the budget. The resolution to read by title is what it says. It just allows us upon the public hearing to allow so that we can just read it by title instead of reading the entire thing. Resolution 18183, which I know that you've signed, that is new this year due to a law that was passed late last year, and it requires certifying that we are in compliance with federal EEOC guidelines on using criminal history checks in hiring. Why they link that to the budget, your guess is as good as mine, but that was a new requirement that came out. Okay. So we introduced the budget that functions kind of like an ordinance. We introduce it. You have a public hearing, has to be at least 28 days in the future, so we're scheduling that for the second meeting in April and scheduling final adoption as well. That can change. It can be amended, but that's the date that's going to be set. So what we should do now is look at dates for hearings with the departments that we want to meet with and any deliberations you would like to have. Everybody can check their calendars now, or tomorrow morning my office can just send out a list of proposed dates that may be a little bit easier for everybody to respond to.
Councilman Pignatelli is the chair, so he has to be the, give us the dates. I mean, the most important, that he be there.
Yes.
If we're looking at Saturdays in April, we have April 7th and 14th. We could do the 21st also.
All right, 2 Saturdays.
If we have to.
The 7th I'll be in Chicago, and the 7th is Texas, my grandson's birthday, and the 21st I'll be in Chicago for my granddaughter's birthday.
14th, okay?
14th is perfect.
14th, I'm gone.
Would evenings work better?
Well,
Last year, I think we did all evenings, right? We didn't have to do a Saturday.
Right. Okay, yeah, whatever.
My flexibility is the best next week, if anybody's available next week.
That would be the week of 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yes.
Correct.
I mean, I can make them. Um,
Well, the 4th is no good.
Yeah, the 4th is a storm briefing.
Right.
The 2nd is, I mean, the 3rd is the Environmental Commission, and the 2nd is
So it leaves the 5th.
How about the 5th?
first aid meeting.
How about the week after?
5th is a Thursday. 5th is okay.
How about the 5th,
And,
everybody?
or the 6th.
Fifth is good.
5th is good.
5th?
5th works.
I take the 5th.
It's April 5th? What time?
What
7,
time?
6.
Well, why don't we start early and get as much done as we can?
Get
Six.
them all done, yeah.
Get them all done on the 5th.
I don't know that you're gonna be able to
No.
get them
How
all
many,
done in one
how many
night.
departments?
Typically, we do library, rec, police, fire, DPW.
How much time
Typically
each?
5. In the past, that's been split over 2 or 3 meetings.
Except-
Typically, we'll take like 2 a night. Sometimes we'll squeeze in a
My,
third.
you know what, lately, I mean, I'm not flexible after that on night times,
Yeah.
because then I go back to court. It's just that I have a lot of flexibility next week.
So let's push for it. Get
So
one done.
I may have to miss some then.
Well, how about the 6th?
It's a Friday.
Yeah, so?
Okay,
won't be here.
let's stick with
Oh,
the
you won't
first
be here
aid.
the 6th.
Uh,
I do say the
Pat, what
7th.
time on
Well, no,
on
I'm
the 5th?
leaving for Texas
Oh,
on the,
okay.
You know, I think we should just schedule 3 evenings. Because even if we have the presentations, I'm sure you're going to want to have some discussion as well, or you know, or a wrap-up discussion before we move to the public hearing. So we can have the 5th as one. I'll work with the departments, you know, and the agencies on scheduling for those, because sometimes they're not available one evening or another evening.
It'll be 6 o'clock, Rich?
That's
Yeah,
fine.
yes. How about the 12th at 6?
and then I have planning board, Lou and I have planning board after that, so.
I mean,
On the 12th.
yeah, I mean,
You're gonna have to do, I'm out of town from the 12th to the 17th, so.
How's the 10th?
Can we start in the afternoon on the 5th?
the 10th? How about the 10th?
What night of the week?
That's a
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
I have an environmental commission meeting, but.
Can't do the
doesn't matter.
10th.
Mayor,
Can't do the 10th either, John.
Mayor, you said you have no Saturdays available?
No, I do.
14th.
14th. But,
14th.
but Bobby's not here.
Right now, we have April 5th, though?
Yes.
All right.
Can we start in the afternoon
6
and
to
just do
9?
it all on
Is that
April
what we
5th?
That's my block out.
I don't know that
6
I
to
can.
9.
Late,
Yeah.
late afternoon, early evening?
I don't think we can fit them all in one night.
What if we start at 4 o'clock?
I can't get there at 4.
So I'm looking at
Did-
6 to 9 on the 5th.
Yeah, did anybody have a conflict on the 10th?
Yes.
Would you have planning board?
No,
That's a Tuesday.
no, I have something I have to go to in.
I have surgery on
In
the 10th.
Hackensack.
You have surgery on the 10th?
Oh, that's when you're having your surgery?
How's the 9th? That
Well,
Monday?
Yeah, Monday the 9th.
I have court on Mondays, that's what I'm saying, the following week, that's when I start court again. I can't get here before 7.
So we could do
So we
that.
start at
All
7.
right.
What day?
Okay.
What's the night?
So the 5th.
Oh, no, I can't do that, I have to go to a judicial. That Monday
Easy.
night.
Back to your first date.
But on it, so is the 10th better?
No, neither night.
11?
Well, let's do
We have a
the
council
5th.
meeting.
Oh, you said the 14th, you're out of town, Bob.
12th? No good?
How's the following week, the 17th? 16th, 17th?
Yeah, how's the
No,
What's the
16th?
night of the week?
Monday night.
Monday.
I can't get here on Monday before 7, so we have to start at 7.
Yeah, how
So
about
start at
the 6th, Monday the 16th at 7 PM?
You do it without me.
Or you're not gonna be here.
I can't do the 16th either.
I'm in state till the 17th.
So the 16th is out?
Let's do the 17th.
You know, we
He's
have,
coming back on the 17th.
we do have a time constraint. We have to do this by the.
Can't we start early on the 5th? Get everybody in and
Didn't we
out?
say this again? This is like the 3rd time we've had this
Well, no
discussion.
one's answering me.
No, I don't know that
I
I
think a
can.
couple
I
people
can-
can't.
What's the earliest we could get here on the 5th?
5,
I'm
Russ.
free.
5?
5 I could try for, you know. I mean, I'll come right from work
Five.
and...
We're doing 5 to 10. There's no way we can't get them all done.
If we
Right.
do it
Why
at
can't we
5,
do
should
that?
we order
You think we
pizza?
could?
Yeah,
5
I'm
hours?
not
that in
really,
the
I'm
budget?
not really joking about that.
Is that in the budget?
No.
Then no.
Why, yeah, we could stay here till it's over. What are you looking at
What
me?
was your joking? Dinner?
Who, me? I don't like glasses. I can barely see
So
it.
what'd you say, dinner?
Pizza.
Yeah, we can have pizza. I'll pay for it.
That's it.
Well, I
it's
can't
okay.
have it because it's Passover, so don't get from me.
All right, so is it the 5th? at
We'll get
5
you
o'clock?
cannoli.
I'll bring my boxer.
All right, so the 5th at 5.
5th at 5, and I'll bring myself, I'll bring a box of matzah if anybody wants.
All right, can we at least pick another date? Because I think in 5 hours, we may be able to get all the presentations done. I don't think that's going to leave much time for any sort of discussion.
And the Monday, this first Monday, no one can do?
What Monday?
2nd?
The 9th?
The 2nd.
Second. Oh, April 2nd? Yeah, I could do April 2nd.
This coming Monday?
Yes.
I'm still trying to get this thing for the 5th on my phone.
That's why we have pencil and paper.
Yeah, I could do it.
What?
Well, I think
That's
if we're,
why I use pen and pen.
I think if we're meeting with the departments on the 5th, we may want to have a meeting after that to have any follow-up discussion.
So, yeah, the 2nd is good. How about Monday the 2nd?
And then Thursday the 5th.
Yeah. Everybody okay?
Monday the
So what
2nd?
would we be doing on the
Okay.
2nd?
Yep, Rich, will your,
I'm on vacation.
but will your committee people be ready for the 2nd? I mean, it's like.
I'd have to say, I mean,
See
that's
who's ready.
actually rather short notice.
Yeah.
See who's ready. Who's ever ready comes.
Okay.
We should really try, though, I think, to have it, to at least schedule, whether or not we think we're ultimately going to need it, we should schedule a meeting after the 5th. Just in
When?
case.
And just for the record, I'm still trying to enter the 5th on my phone, so.
How's like the
Why don't we on the
Wednesday, the
5th?
18th or 19th?
Well, why don't we on the 5th figure out how quickly we end and figure out when we could meet again?
That's fine.
Can I be on the Technology Commission?
You can't get your phone to work.
So April 5th
Works,
at
I
5,
just
we're thinking.
can't get-
That's it. So far as April 5th at 6.
At what time?
At
And April
5?
2nd, at what
2nd
time?
and the 5th.
5 o'clock both nights.
5 o'clock?
We're going to try for the 2nd.
2nd and the 5th. Russ, you good for 5?
I'll try.
Eric?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm just concerned that the department heads won't be ready. I mean, tomorrow's
Yeah,
a
it's
holiday.
quick notice.
and
Wait a
then
second,
boom,
I got
you're
shades
into
on.
it.
Fires now. Fires.
Well, I have first aid meeting.
Yeah, but we can miss a meeting.
Thank you.
Well, it starts at 5,
Yeah,
so we
miss
may
it
be
with you.
finished.
Give me a note.
We may have just a few people coming.
So, Mayor, what was the hardship for either the 4th or the 6th?
Matt
You're not
just
around?
texted me. Oh, Goodrich.
The
We have a
6th, I
meeting
am
that
leaving
night.
for Texas, that's a Friday.
And the 4th was no good?
The 4th was a Tuesday.
That's the debrief meeting.
Oh, no, that's the meeting here at
Can we,
7.
can we postpone the
Oh, we
debrief?
we could do,
Move that.
We have
we
OCC
can
as
meet
well.
before that,
What's that?
at 5 o'clock on the 4th.
There's a communications commission meeting then too.
Could we have to meet here? We could meet somewhere else.
Yeah, but Eric and I have to go to it.
But what time is that meeting?
7.
Yeah, that's
So
earlier.
can we do from 5 to 7?
Well, they gotta be there at 7, so. You don't get.
No, I'm saying, we have OCC before the storm debrief that night,
Oh, this is
on the
complicated.
4th.
It is complicated.
And you're busy with your phone still.
I got it.
Oh, okay.
I got it, we're good.
So, how about we just
The
start with the
6th at
5th?
5 o'clock.
I thought we were talking with the 2nd.
We were. What's wrong with the 3rd? Anybody got stuff on the 3rd?
Really?
Thursday, April 5th.
I can't do the
This
3rd.
is actually funny now.
No, it's not. It's embarrassing.
See what you can do for the 2nd.
Okay. I'm just thinking about notice requirements. Okay.
So we're going in on April 2nd
trying.
at 5 o'clock.
Right, and then we're trying for the 5th at 5, and that should be it.
But then but Rich is thinking we would need a follow-up meeting?
Well, maybe, but I think we can talk, I think we can talk about that on the 5th.
Okay.
Might as well. Okay. Okay.
So Rich, you'll let us know about the 2nd then, right? You'll send out an email.
I just did, I thought the 2nd, we already agreed on
He
that.
put that in his phone. So
Yeah, you know what, I'll see what agencies can do it,
See
can do it Monday.
Who's,
All right.
who's prepared?
Because your budget books will be coming out
And John
Monday,
said-
so that has a lot of more information.
Okay.
on,
So, Resolution 18180 is the resolution authorizing the 2018 budget to be read by title only. And then 18181 is the introduction of the budget. Following statements of revenues and appropriations shall constitute the municipal budget 2018. And the hearing on the budget, excuse me, and the tax resolution shall be held in council chambers on April 25th, 2018 at 7:30. And then Resolution 18183 is the certification of compliance, the governing body's certification of compliance with the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
We
Any
have to actually,
discussion? Roll call.
excuse me, Mayor?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, before you do that, don't we have to actually read this? Or no?
Which one?
Yeah,
I
Brian,
thought you
I think.
explained it. Did you explain it?
180 and 181.
Well,
Well, he read it. He said it in his
the mayor,
summary.
the mayor read 181. We didn't read 180.
Right.
Okay, NJSA 40A:4-A provides that the budget be read by title only at the time of the public hearing, but you see where he summarized it. If a resolution is passed by not less than a majority of the full governing body, providing that at least 1 week prior to the date of hearing, a complete copy of the approved municipal budget as advertised has been posted in the municipal building, and copies have been made available by the clerk to persons requiring them. And now therefore be resolved that the, see why you're saying it's the calendar year 2018 budget shall be read by title only.
So moved.
Well, you already had your motion and second by Mr. Bialy and Mr. Kamal. Okay.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy?
Yes.
Councilman Nab?
Yes.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
Councilman Levy?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Calvini?
Yes.
Work session items. Boswell Proposal 2018 Road Program and the resolutions to support CDBG program.
Okay, the first item can be held. We're still scoping that out a little bit, but I would expect probably at the next workshop we'll have that. And the second one is very straightforward. You received a email communication from Mary Amoroso at the county asking for a municipal resolution to support the preservation of federal community development block grant funding, which provides significant resources for local communities. Everything from bricks and mortar work to supporting social service programs. And I believe it's at some risk of either reduction or elimination in the federal budget. Although I think I did just hear that the latest budget deal actually had an increase for it. But it would still, you know, this is a program, a federal program that we've benefited from greatly over the years, especially when we had an eligible area. We pretty much used community development block grant funding to pave all of the area in the eligible region over probably a course of 10 or 12 years or so. So it was a great help to us. So I think it would be a good idea to go on record as supporting it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so the resolution will be in the next month's packet, next week. next
Mayor, just a
meeting.
question?
Yeah.
Are we clear that this wasn't in the omnibus bill that Trump just signed?
No, I think there was an actual increase.
There was an increase?
That's what I heard that wound up getting signed off on.
Okay.
New business. Anybody have any new business? I had talked about, we had met with our grant writer, Marlene Casey, and she suggested that we have a grant committee. And do you want me to hold this until the next meeting so everybody can decide if they want to be, what they want to do about this grant committee?
I think Eric and I are going to do it.
Who?
I think Eric and I are going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem? You agree?
I'm fine with that.
So I'm appointing.
That was Eric and Lou, right?
No, Lou and Eric.
So I'll appoint an ad hoc committee. There'll be 2 council members, Lou Levy, Eric Kamala, myself, a resident. I had asked Sandra Cora because she is fabulous at research, and Mr. Cons. If anybody is interested in participating in a grant writing or grant review program committee, an ad hoc committee, please let me know. We're also looking for more members of the Green Team, the Public Events Committee. Anybody else?
Communications Commission?
Communications Committee. Please let us know. Council Committee reports. We'll start, we'll start with Councilman Talamini, but before we start, as you all know, I had emailed the superintendent of schools asking her to please ask the school board. We would like to meet with them, and I had suggested we meet here in council chambers so that it's televised, the council and the school board members, to discuss the election of the school board because the turnout is awful. People don't come out to vote. It costs the town and the school a lot of money. And two incumbents are running, that, you know, no one knows who they are. And I thought maybe if we talk about it and people will come out and express their opinions about whether or not to keep the school board election in the spring or consider moving it to November during the general election when people come out to vote. I have not heard, if you could please, our liaison to the school. Councilman, if you could please pass on my message to them. Thank you. Okay, you're on.
Mayor, I had just one thing under new business.
Well, why don't you just wait till the committee report that?
Okay.
Because I thought Russell was about to speak.
Okay.
Okay, under the schools, just, I spoke with Superintendent Cafaro today, and she had said that she had sent an email to the state, the department that had set the moratorium on changing back to November, to April if you wanted to, and so she's still waiting to hear back from them because there was supposed to be a decision from them. So once she hears from the state, then she'll get back to us and we can figure out what's going on there. Also in the schools, April 17th is Election Day. There are two candidates running and the budget, so please go out and vote. Public events. Thank you to everyone on the Public Events Committee. It's they do such a good job, and the Easter egg hunt was very successful. The mayor spoke about it. Chipper spoke about it. I'll call him Chipper. He calls me Talamino. I'll call him Chipper. Chopper does a great job running our events, and it's bigger and better every year. It's a great group, and once again, we need help. More people, the better, and it's a lot of fun. And then I wanted to thank Recreation on another successful season. All three of my kids went through the basketball season and had a lot of fun. The coaches are great. I even get to coach with Councilman Kamala. He's okay. But
didn't he beat you?
Yeah, numerous times. But no, it's really a great program, a great bunch of people, and I noticed the mayor mentioned about becoming a coach, getting certified with the Rutgers course. Really, if you could coach your kids in rec, it's one of the greatest things you can do. I love doing it, and it's a great experience for me, never mind my kids, and thank you to the Oakland Recreation Department.
Tell them about the mother-daughter game.
We had a mother-daughter game that was awesome. My wife scored 4 points. She was very excited about that. My daughter tried to block her, but she couldn't. The mothers had the height advantage.
They got pretty aggressive.
The mother-daughter was that was a tough game, but a lot of fun. But again, thank you to the rec department, and that's it.
Thank you. Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just one thing under new business while we have the borough engineer here, Rich. I was wondering if we can get an update for the residents of the Ramapo River Reserve of where we stand with the engineering of the bridge, Patriots Way.
We got a letter.
Sorry, yeah, John, do you have an update on that?
Well, it's my understanding that we were authorized the funding to start our project. I talked with the bridge engineer today. We're going to have internal meetings. We consider it a priority, that project. So I would have better things to report at the next meeting. We just started getting our feet wet with it today, as a matter of fact.
Terrific, thank you. We just want to make sure that the residents up in the reserve understand that there is progress going behind the scenes, even though they're not seeing anything actually physically happening on the bridge at this point. So, thank you.
That is correct.
Thank you, sir.
Well, the attorney for the association called, constantly emailing me, so I don't ignore it. I do respond to him, so he knows.
Okay, Mayor, my report, real quick. I did bring a little bit of a presentation for the people in the control room.
I'm looking forward to it.
First of all, I just want to make the announcement, really important for the library. The library will be closed Tuesday, April 3rd, Wednesday, April 4th, and Thursday, April 5th. There will be construction taking place in the entrance area with new tile work, flooring, and a lot of loud, disruptive construction going on. And really for the safety of the residents, the library will be closed for those 3 days. So let me show you what's going on with the library real quick. Briefly, I took this picture at the beginning of one of the snowstorms. I just thought it was a nice backdrop. But here's looking in the basement. You can see we've got 3 rooms down there. And right now we've got the storefronts that are going up, and what you're seeing here is those will be glass walls so that there'll be meeting spaces in there with conference tables, and there's supposed to be a maker space. There's looking down the line, you can see 1, 2, 3, 2 different rooms right there. There's natural lighting coming in through the doors in the back. You can see the ceiling grid has already started to go up, all the HVAC is already completed. Another big room in the back as well. Now, this is all in the below the children's section that's taking place. This is looking down the hallway. If you look all the way down, that's the old part of the library that had just recently been completed. Once again, all that flooring work's going to be done, new ceiling tiles and new lighting's going in there as well. And I think it's just another shot real quick from another view. This was kind of interesting. This actually took place this past Friday. It was a performance called Sherlock Holmes and the Adventures of the Speckled Band. It was a radio play, and it was attended by 75 residents in town. And this was paid for by a grant from the New Jersey Theater Alliance Staging Festival. So this is this is the second of the 3 in the series. There's going to be the final after-hours performance will be taking place Friday, April 10th. It's entitled Teddy Roosevelt, American in the Arena. So keep an eye out for that, and I'm sure you'll see that on Facebook as well from the library. Real quick, I just want to show why the library is so important. This is the mayor launching the Easter egg hunt. This is taking place in the background.
Nice jacket.
There's all the mayhem after she says go. Once again, it was really nice for the community. They had some bounce houses and other venues outside. Just some local residents. Russ, why don't you introduce these people as part of your committee?
That's my committee.
Well done, Russ. Moving right along. And the mayor and myself. So really, I'm just happy to report that the library is really coming along well.
Where's the Easter Bunny?
Right there. He's in the red jacket.
Good guy right to your right.
All right, Ryan, you can come back to me. We can get off that. So what else? Looking out the next 2 weeks on the library, they were going to, like I said, they're going to continue the flooring. They're going to be the storefronts upstairs, the painting, and sprinkler work. And we're still looking at a late spring grand opening, so stay tuned, and I'll give you another report next week. Yes, it's really coming along great.
And don't forget about having Mr. Visconti back for that, and the council would present him with something.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we haven't even got to that stage. We're just trying to wrap up the construction. Once we get a firm date, I'll be reporting back, and we certainly
You didn't take a picture of the beam room where we're going to do weddings.
I showed that last time.
Yes.
It's going to be weddings.
Yeah.
Wedding room.
Rec Commission, real quick, we had a meeting last Monday. I guess, as Russ stated, things are going well down there. And once again, as the mayor stated, really important for anybody who wants to coach, please take the Rector's class April 6th, 6:30. To register, please reach out to the rec secretary, Tracy, at 337-8111. You have to pre-register, 337-8111. Water and sewer, real quick. We have a meeting we're trying to schedule hopefully for next week, and I'm sure everybody in the mail got the consumer confidence report, so I'm happy to report the Oakland water is fine. If anybody does not have a copy of this, you can find a copy of this down in either the library or the Borough Hall. And that's all I have to report, Mayor.
Thank you. Good report. Nice pictures.
Very nice pictures. My report starts with the seniors, as usual. I just want to echo what the mayor has already brought to the table about the art exhibit, which will run from April 5th to 29th. I want to thank Rose, and I also want to thank Jack Ackerman for sending me all the information necessary to bring to the public about the art exhibit from our seniors, which will be at the library from the 5th of April to the 29th. But April 14th is actually the reception from 1 to 4. So I'll be there, the mayor will be there, and we'll see who's there. On April 14th, we're having a little celebration for April 24th, I'm sorry. A celebration will be had at the Senior Center for two very special people. Angelo Chisano, who's been elected Ambassador of Goodwill for the seniors. And we're celebrating, as the mayor indicated before, Josephine Berkowitz's 103rd birthday. So congratulations before the celebration to Josephine. And according to Rose, Josephine is still the best card player in the senior center. And she's a card shark, so you got to watch out for Josephine. DPW, storm-related pickup is still going on. I spoke to Anthony this evening, and he should be wrapping up, picking up all the wood that was left over from all the damage done by the storm in the next week to 2 weeks. Our actual pickup for our yard waste will start April 2nd. So if you have it, as the mayor indicated before, your wood pile has to be no bigger than 4 foot and no diameter no bigger than 4 inches. LED, we've completed the LED installation plan for 2018. So those residents that have gotten in touch with me, your lights will be changed out to LEDs. Plus, we're going to finish off the Heights School area. No, we're going to finish off the Manitou School area. So we're doing, I believe we have about 10 fixtures going to be installed in the Manitou Avenue section. And several residence locations on Pawnee, Minnehaha, Seminole, Hiawatha, and I believe Calumet. Okay, historical and cultural. We have a meeting with Margaret Hickey, our architectural, historical architect, to discuss the program that we want to pursue for the, whatever we're going to be doing with the Stream House, and also to pick and choose about how we're going to be addressing the Van Allen House itself. So that's April 13th at 2 p.m. Pilgrim Pipeline, there's been a new little wrinkle put in. Pilgrim Pipeline people have hired 2 very high-end legal operations to lobby for them in Trenton, and where we're going to be discussing, the Municipal Pipeline Group will be having a conference call at 8 a.m. on Wednesday to discuss our next move with the from the MPG Group. Yesterday, I was at Ramapo College, being invited there by the Food and Water Action Alliance, and it was a 2.5-hour, very eye-opening presentation by 4 presenters, plus several of our local assembly people who are on the Environmental Committee in the State House. And you know, you hear all these here future predictions about where we're going with our greenhouse effect and the use of pollution. You hear some stories that now the government is allowing polluters to pay for polluting. So if you want to continue dirtying the air, you pay the government extra money. I think it's the wrong way to go, as well as the 120 people who were at the symposium yesterday. It's very interesting, and now I'm involved. Our Environmental Commission members were there as well. The BCIA breakfast this morning, I gave Pat, our financial chair, the packet. I sat through the 1.5-hour program, gave it to the mayor and to Rich Kunz. They offer a very good program for using the BCIA triple rating to borrow money for capital projects, or to buy anything from garbage cans to fire trucks. So if we take it, I'm sure there'll be something in there we can take advantage of and save some tax dollars. And that, my mayor, is my report.
Thank you.
Can I just ask?
Yeah.
The pipeline. You said you were going to have a meeting. I know we had put money towards an attorney.
Yeah.
So.
No, we worked at, I thought I reported that at the last meeting in exec, but we worked out, we have a surplus of money left over from last year. So we're not putting any more money into it until that is knocked down to a ceiling level, and then we'll start again. But right now, we have a surplus of about 38,000, Rich? Something in there?
It was significant, it should carry them for a while.
It'll carry them for a while. So, because we didn't use them a lot last year, because there's been very little activity, so now we're seeing activity come up. But just to let everyone know, the pipeline people are still undergoing the scrutiny of the New York State DEP. They haven't even, they made their initial approach to the New Jersey State DEP, but they haven't made applications yet. But they did hire 2 high-end attorney firms to represent their case, so.
Thank you. Councilor.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. On the 20th of this month, the Board of Health had their meeting. At the meeting, we had a representative from one of the local food establishments in because they had received 2 conditional satisfactories. I want the people of Oakland to know that the Board of Health pays very particular attention to violations of the state sanitary code. Most comply wholeheartedly. Some, however, are repeat violators, and those people are brought before the Board of Health and told of the importance and stressed the importance of complying with the law. The Environmental Commission is going to meet on the 10th of April. At that meeting, they'll be looking at their recommendations for the beekeeper ordinance.
Okay.
So they'll be looking at that, and then we'll forward the recommendation to the council. On the 17th is going to be the Board of Health meeting, 7:30 p.m. at Borough Hall. Just a reminder again, I know I've spoken about this at almost every meeting. There's going to be a cleanup at the Oak Park on April 21st at 9 a.m. And as I stressed before, if you have a student that needs community service time, perfect for them to come. If you like the park and you want to see it beautified, please come and help. You know what they say, many hands make light work. So please, if you're not doing anything on April 21st at 9 a.m., come down to Oak Park and help us clean up. And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman.
Yes, Mayor. The Flood Commission, so now he's the blue light police. There was no meeting of the Flood Commission. We had too many members who were either out of town or ill, but the Flood Commission will be meeting in April. Bob, you want to do planning? Would you like me to do, or Station Park, I should say?
That's yours.
Station Park did meet. We actually, Ed Clark and Peter Kirkott came up with an absolutely incredible design. They came up with 2 different concepts for us. We actually voted on it. We picked one concept. We will be developing a presentation to give before the Borough and Council, or for the Mayor and Council, I should say, on our proposal for the park. We have an extended budget, which we will be seeking to fulfill through a streetscapes grant through Marlene. She came up with the proper grant vehicle for it. We've organized with DOT for the right-of-way that they require for us to keep in order to make this compliant with them. I know that we've talked to the DOT about the one piece of property that we sort of have in the middle of this area that's a little ambiguous, and they have no problem with us putting the park there. So the Station Park is moving along beautifully. Thank you, Mayor.
Oh, thank you on that. Councilman.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I'm going to guess what camera to look at. I'm going to try that one. So I said last month, I heard that. I said last month that I was going to start giving reports public safety-wise for each of our 4 organizations. So I'm going to start that tonight. It's going to be built upon. This is just the first go-around, but I think it's important that the public hears what our public safety organizations are doing. So we'll start with the police. So this is just stats for the month of February of this year. So February, the police answered 1,055 calls for service. They They completed 448 motor vehicle stops. They did 6 stationary enforcement details. Stationary enforcement details encompass cell phone checks, seatbelt checks, stationary radar, overdue inspection and things to that nature. They did 54 school checks. These are school safety and security checks. They do random. They do them at least twice a day, and nobody knows when they're coming because they never go at the same time twice, which is extremely important. Our ambulance, our first aid squad, for the month of February, I don't have a lot of data on them because they're in a software transition right now, so the information should start flowing better next month for this month. So all I have on them right now is that they answered 65 calls in the month of February, which for a 28-day month is pretty significant, and I know they average around 800 per year, so that fits right in there, and kudos to them for doing that. Pat, I think you were on all 65 calls, weren't you?
Probably. No, I think 63.
No, I took 2 days off. Fire department answered 29 calls for service during the month of February. They had 3 drills, and they did total man hours for the month of February, 2,216 man hours between calls, drills, meetings, and some of the other things we do is having scouts come down, giving tours, bringing the trucks to the schools, and giving tours and things of that nature. So 2,000 plus hours for 1 month from the fire department. That, to me, is outstanding. OEM, the only thing I have to report on OEM is we will be having a storm debrief meeting next week with all department heads and the officers of each department as well to go over the effects of the storm, what we can learn from what we went through last time for the next storm, because you know there'll be more. And then a big topic is going to be Orange and Rockland, how they handled the power outages, the coordination between the mutual aid electric companies from out of state, and there's definitely improvement that needs to be there. So
just to not to interrupt you, but on June 9th,
right,
we are hosting through my Northwest Bergen Mayors Association. Oakland is hosting on Saturday morning all the mayors in our Northwest group. We invited our assemblyman, our state senator, and county personnel, and whoever, and Mr. Kunz will be there.
yeah, I responded. I'm going to do that as
Yes,
well.
Mr. Kunz did not respond yet. And it will be all the utility companies. We
Good.
invited all the administrators to attend.
And did I not hear that there is some chatter around the county to, if Orange doesn't pick up their game, that there's going to be some kind of a move to make all of Bergen County public service?
Well,
Public service is
PSE&G. The only thing that I heard was Wyckoff
is half.
Wyckoff is half public service, half O&R, and they want to go all public service. So,
Well, this is what we're working with.
Right.
I don't know how you do that. I don't know if you can just do that.
They try.
But
It's
we're-
gotta go
There's a
before
fee that they have
the
to
state.
pay.
Yeah.
But we're trying. I
use
mean,
their
Rockland
lines.
was awful. I mean, luckily, we're not the lowest of, I mean, public service seemed to have been the best service during this last
It
storm.
has to be presented to the Public Utilities
Actually, the
Commission.
JCP knows worse.
They were the worst.
yeah.
Oh, are they?
All right, so finishing my report, Municipal Alliance, I have nothing to report on. Our next meeting there is June 11th in Great Oak Park. Our park meeting had to be rescheduled due to the weather, and Pat mentioned the cleanup on April 21st, so
Thank you.
that's my report.
Thank you. At this time, a motion to open to public.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wish to speak? Motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bills to be paid, Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes, bills be paid, Mayor. $477,307.28. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy?
Yes.
Councilman Knapp?
Yes.
Councilman Kamala?
Yes.
Councilman Levy?
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Councilman Calhoun?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The next meeting will be held here April 11th. And look for, again, a very happy holiday. Whatever holiday you're celebrating this weekend, just enjoy and be safe. Good night.